Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this session. You want to close the door? Yeah. So in this session, we want to share the approach we took to implement OSS license compliance in our department. Particularly in our approach, we have set up a centralized team of license experts, which works with more than one product development team to ensure license compliance. So let's get started. This is the kind of agenda we have for today's session. We have three parts. We would be first discussing about why we centralized our OSS license clearance support. We'll be discussing the approach we took to evaluate the various models, and then what made a match for our department. In the next part, details about our centralized clearance support team. We'll show a practical implementation of how a centralized license clearance process works, how it works, and we'll also discuss some challenges that we faced, and then we'll also discuss about how we handled those challenges. In the last part, we'll share some key learnings in our centralized clearance approach, the insights that we've gained during our experience while applying this for the last 3 years. Towards the end of the session, probably we'll have some question and answers time. Going next, a quick about us. I am Venugopal. I am a program manager in Sony India Software Center. I manage the OSS compliance program since its inception. Within the Sony Group, my experience includes product development, standards, certifications, and of course, OSS compliance. I'm very happy to be here and to share our experience with the community. I have with me Anupama, who is the technical lead for this program. Anupama.
Good evening all. I am Anupama, currently leading the OSS compliance program for Sony India Software Center Limited. Within Sony Group, my experience spanned from middleware, networking, system engineering, Debian-based distribution system, etc. All of these experiences evolved into my core focus for open source and compliance. Today, I'm very happy to be here sharing my experience about my compliance journey with the community. So thank you.
Thanks. So before we get into the details, I want to first share our definition of the centralized license compliance model. This is how it looks. At first, our OSPO, the Open Source Program Office, was established in 2022, consisting of various open source experts in our department. And taking guidance from them, OSPO has prepared a competency in compliance. And our OSPO consists of various experts, and we engage with multiple developer teams within our department. OSPO executes different activities such as defining internal rules, providing engineering support, strategy and planning, etc. So OSPO has created a dedicated team of 6 members for license clearance. This dedicated team of 6 members is what is referred to as centralized open source clearance team. In our team, we have a mix of compliance experts and developers. And our team focuses on supporting more than one developer teams in our department for license clearance. So since inception, we have supported more than 17 different teams in our department. Our centralized clearance team, we have built the environment for proceeding the license clearance following the OSPO vision. By environment, we mean the tools we use for license scanning, for example, FOSSology, FOSS-ID, some inbuilt tools, etc. And the process we follow for license analysis, and the standards-based artifacts to record results of clearance. For example, SPDX, SBOM, how do we kind of like use that? And also, by environment, we include the communication channels that we used to talk between the license clearance team and the developer teams. So in every process, we work together with the product development team. For each project, we have a dedicated OSPO lead from the development team who becomes our interface for the license clearance team. So this approach has worked very good for OSPO and the product development team, allowing for a good separation of responsibility. Product developers can concentrate on building products better with higher quality, while the OSPO experts can acquire wide and practical knowledge about open source. And both of them working together is our definition of a centralized compliance model. Going next. So next, we want to share our approach we took to evaluate various models. So there are many options available. So this is the steps we did to evaluate what made a match for our department. To start off with, At first, we looked at the OSS landscape in our department. We looked at the number of teams that are available in our department, what kind of products we are building, and within that, we wanted to see what is the common areas within that OSS landscape, and what are some unique challenges that product development teams are already facing. That was one step we took. The second thing is we also evaluated what was important for us. So what is the priority? For example, consistency in quality was important, knowledge reuse was important. Like this, we looked at our priorities. We'll look a little bit deeply in the upcoming slides. And also, last thing, we evaluated the options. So we looked at the various features of what a centralized model can provide us and what a decentralized model can provide. And later, we saw what made a good match for our department. So to give you a bit information about our department's OSS landscape, this is how it looks. As you can see, we have multiple products ranging from image sensor to development boards to camera devices to PaaS service like called ATS. So supporting multiple products was an important factor for us. Then we had multiple product teams. Supporting them was important factor for us. Then we have multiple technology stacks that we had to support. So these were the important factors for us. To proceed to analyze common components, the next step we did was we looked at what was common around all these products that we had. So like you would see, the firmware, software, the drivers, they get used across products. And having consistent license clearance across products was very important for us. So this is the kind of like OSS landscape that we already had in our department that we had to support. Right? So this became an important factor for us to consider. And to give you a detail about what are the unique challenges that for license clearance that one would face in this ecosystem, I would invite Anupama.
Thanks, Venu. So as you can see here, these are few example products from our department, and the representation itself shows we have a huge reuse for open source components. So there is a factor for reusability. All the while dealing with the recurring OSS components, we had product unique challenges to handle for our ecosystem. So to state an example, in case of a camera device, we will have the source code built into binaries and embedded into the device. So to do a license interpretation for a camera device, you need to read the source code, interpret the build logs and configurations, basically the build conditions. If you come to a web server in a PaaS like Atrios, the source code is based on the package managers. You need to know the interpretation for package metadata, the precompiled binaries supplied by the package managers, and the different tools the package managers already share you for analysis. So in short, the different products will need different techniques for analyzing the licenses based on the preconditions how the product is built. Another example is, for the same license, the end-to policies or the usage conditions at the distribution model will affect the licenses. Again, coming back to a camera device, the code is embedded into the device and it is with the customers when we distribute the device. So the frequency of updates may be less frequent. But in a PaaS service, in a web server, you host the application in a server. Some web browsers will be used to access the application, and frequency of the updates will be more. So the same license that's in an embedded device is not okay, maybe okay in a PaaS service because it runs on a server, not at the user's hands. So in short, different end usage or different products will need different policy for their license analysis. Again, there are various other unique factors, like a same open source component if you build will have multiple binaries, and each of the binary will have a different license. Again, something like an image sensor, you have firmwares and drivers for working around the firmwares. You need to see the involvement of third-party code and how do you trace the dependencies of third-party codes. Coming to something like development boards, it's a mini computer. You have multi-layers to deal with, from the firmware till the SDKs. For each layer, the interpretation, the policies, the usage, and the integration factor you will have to take into consideration. So in short, all the while dealing with the same or recurring open source component, for each product, depending on the end usage or the policies or the preconditions, you need a different challenge to handle with. So our centralized model need to focus on what are the common challenges as well as the unique challenges to set up a compliance process. So over to Venu.
Thanks. Once we took a broad look at what are the products we had to support our OSS landscape, we went to discuss about what was important key drivers for us in our department. So we had multiple teams, so we have many teams, but it's still a manageable number. And then across these teams, we wanted consistent license compliance artifacts to be produced. So consistent quality was very important for us. That became a key driver. Then we have a lot of common OSS that is being used across the products. So we wanted to reuse the knowledge that is gained from clearing a certain product to be reused. So reuse of knowledge became a key driver for us. And then there would be situations where certain product teams could actually land up in unique challenges. In those situations, we wanted to actually work together and actually resolve what are the unique challenges. So working together became another key driver for any selection of the model that we wanted to implement. Keeping this in mind, the next step we proceeded to actually evaluate what are the features provided by a centralized clearance model versus a decentralized model. For example, sustaining knowledge. Expert knowledge gained in one project, we wanted to easily apply across different products. This is possible in a centralized clearance model. And consistency, since it's a unified team, single team that is producing the artifacts, consistency is easy to kind of like get. And application of standards and processes are very easily because you have one unified centralized team where you can apply. And very less duplicates also is an advantage in a centralized approach. And we also can have reduced legal risk because we are dealing with one team, which can actually have a support from the legal team within the OSPO framework. Also, however, some challenges are there in the centralized clearance model. We'll take a look at how we handle these challenges in the upcoming slides. Execution bottleneck is one challenge that one would face. Then we note that coordination overhead is another challenge and developer dependency is another challenge. When it comes to decentralized clearance, one would see that faster local decisions can be made because the product team and the license clearance team are together. And then the product expertise, the access to the product expertise, which is available with the developers, very easily accessible to the license clearance team. It's very easy to tailor the solution because both the teams are working together in a decentralized way. And then very easy to change priority also. So these are some key features of a decentralized clearance. Some challenges are inconsistent decisions because you will have many teams doing license clearance across in different teams. You might have inconsistent conclusions and analysis. Duplication of probably they'll have their own tools. Everyone will be maintaining the same tools across and those things. Duplication of tools, efforts is one feature. Then we could have varying expertise. As per the opportunity available for that team, the expertise will improve. So you might not have a same expertise across the teams. And it's hard to reuse because there are multiple teams and getting them together is kind of like a little tough. So after seeing these features of centralized and decentralized model and keeping in background our OSS landscape, and our key decisions, key drivers that we wanted to focus for our department. Centralized clearance model actually made a match for our goals. There were some challenges. The trade-offs, which we'll discuss in a minute, were acceptable for us, and we decided to kind of like use a centralized model within our department. Going next. To give a detail of how a centralized license clearance support model actually works, the practical implementation, and to look at the challenges and mitigations later, I would hand over to Anupama-san.
Thanks again, Venu. So moving to the practicality from the theory. So this one, we would just want to show how we work in a centralized model in our department. So I'm just taking two example teams, Team A and Team B. They have varying requirements for a clearance, like Team A want a license clearance for a particular binary libeLF debug from ELF open source component. And Team B want to know about EU readelf with some linked dependency clearance. If the central team is not in place, what each of the team would have to go through is replicate the scanning environment, understand about the inference processes, how do we do the conclusion for each of the component, and prepare their standardization of conclusion results, etc. So we are there, set up as a centralized compliance team, and we have built the infra or the environment for varying product teams in our department. So we have set up the scanner tools, what we want to apply for different teams according to the product varieties we have analyzed. And we have gained over a period of time the expertise on how do we infer the different license policies and categorize the OSS. Also, we have our conclusion methodologies. We are also prepared with the software repository where we use the standardization SBOM mainly for the conclusion result recording. So in practical case, the compliance team lifecycle starts when the different developer teams request the service for their clearance. So team A and team B approaches us. No matter the complexity or size of their input request, we follow the same standard procedures of going through the scanning and inference. Now, while doing the inference and conclusion, we tailor or cater to the specific requirements for each of the team. So for team A, they want to know more about a dynamic binary with the embedded source code inside their component. So they want to consider all the embedded modules. So for team A, the compliance team get in touch with the team A, get the more coordinated requirements for what do they want to actually know for their product. And we conclude the license clearance process using the embedded source code for their binary. Again, for team B, they want to know more about the linked dependencies in their use case binary. So for team B, we take the different approach of analyzing how the dependencies are affecting their requested binary. And considering their specific requirement, we proceed and conclude the clearance with the linked dependency. And once the conclusion is made, we proceed to record the results. So the artifacts are standard format. We follow SPDX SBOM standards. So for each of the team, we conclude the results in SPDX SBOM, but the content of the SBOM will be specific to the requesting team's requirements. So in the centralized team, we make use of reusable and standardized infrastructure for servicing the teams. And for a conclusion of results, we again make use of the open source standards for recording of the results. Even though it's a centralized process, for each team, we provide the personalization. Depending on what they request us, the results also will be tailored to their specific requirements. So this is how, for the last 3 years, we've been serving multiple developer teams for the license conclusion. So this is our practical approach. Now, moving on to the fun part. What is compliance if it does not have any challenges, right? So yeah, I'll give over to Venu to summarize the challenges.
Right, thanks. So in a centralized model, we want to showcase 3 challenges in particular. So we support multiple developer teams. So the first challenge of parallel requests. So you'd end up with multiple teams requesting for license clearance parallelly. So this traffic would be a challenge that we have to kind of like mitigate. The second challenge that one would face is a coordination overhead. For example, to actually do a deep license analysis, you would need a lot of information about the product. And sometimes developer teams forget to kind of like give this information to the license clearance team. So this results in a lot of back and forth between the clearance team and the product development team, so which is suboptimal and is a challenge that one would want to kind of like mitigate. The third challenge that we will showcase is that of a developer dependency. Again, the compliance team requires a lot of this product knowledge, be it the build system, be it how the OSS dependencies are being added, the end distribution knowledge and all the stuff, which is available with the developer team, but this knowledge creates a transitive dependency in a centralized model between the developer team and compliance team. How do you reduce this transitive dependency as much as possible? That is one challenge that we had to take a look at so that we can do a smooth license clearance process. For mitigating each of these 3 challenges, I would invite Anupama to talk about each challenges and the mitigation.
Thanks again, Venu. So coming to the bottleneck, we keep it as simple remediations which works efficiently for us. So for the bottleneck, what worked for us is the smart sorting. So all of our compliance members within our team, the 6 members are trained on the same expertise level, and they are all on industry standards and organization-wide policies. So what we do when we have multiple requests from different teams, we sort them. So sorting is like criticality, priority, complexity. So based on the different incoming requests at the same time, we just sort them and all of the requests will be fed to the trained member tool. And switching the task between the member pool in our compliance team does not add any additional delay. So this simple sorting technique having in a centralized team has worked well for us in the past for I would not say eliminate, but it helped us to manage the bottleneck of multiple parallel requests at the same time. So moving on to the next challenge, it's a coordination overhead. So the details about product is with the developers. So for us to do the accurate license clearance, we will need a multiple aspect information from the different teams. It often results in back and forth communication. So how can we eliminate this? So for this, we use a structured input receiving mechanism so that the project teams, when requesting, will invest some time to fill up, say, a predefined template. We gather the information at the starting of the request. Using that, the clearance team will proceed independently for the clearance, and we try to keep it that independence level as much as possible. Only if specific information needed, we will get in touch with the project team again. So this structured way, an example we will show in the next slide. This structured information gathering at the starting of the request lifecycle has worked well for us to efficiently manage the communication overhead. So moving on to the example. So this is one example of how do we do this structured mechanism of communication. So at the start of a request, we try to gather information from the developers. The information is categorized into 3 sections mainly: the project information, preconditions where the product will be built, and the packaging information for the end distribution terms. So this looks big or detailed, but this is the information that's already available to the developer teams. They just need to record it to start a clearance request. So in the project information phase, we mainly collect the metadata about the project, and we try to establish the communication with the one OSS lead from the different developer teams. Then throughout the life cycle, we need any communication, the PIC will be the person for us to get in touch with, so that we avoid communicating to multiple people also in the developer teams. Now, the preconditions, we mainly focus on what are the build conditions or the specific requirements you will need to take care while doing the license inference. And the packaging information will help us know what will be the end distribution conditions. So using this structured way of communication, we could actually reduce the overhead while executing the clearance to a great extent. So since inception in 2022 till now, we had around 17 to 19 different developer teams and maybe more than 236 clearance requests. Most of them were parallel occurrences also. So in all of them, we could apply this template successfully so that the overheads related to the communication or bottleneck was efficiently reduced. Now, moving on to the one focus challenge. This is the developer dependency. It's unavoidable. So product developers have the most insights about the product. The compliance team, for a conclusion or license policy inference, we will need the insights from product owners. Such transitive dependency is unavoidable in a compliance system. So how do we reduce this? So the first and foremost thing is the compliance team not only just start a service request and do the compliance cycle, we undertake a lot of hidden work, such as analyzing different build system, prepare ourselves familiar with the different product ecosystem. For example, for a camera device, we will try to see what are the build systems that is being used, how do we analyze dependencies in the build systems or trace the dependencies to the transitive level, etc. So by unlocking the hidden challenges and preparing ourselves to deal with the product ecosystem, we reduce the developer dependency to some extent. Again, one more technique here, what we use is a differential analysis. If the same or similar request repeat, we gain the product expertise over the period of time. So in each occurrence, we will concentrate on what is changed from your previous version or the difference. So that over a period of time, we try to evolve getting our product expertise more and more. This will again reduce the developer dependency. So again, around the 236 requests that we have handled so far, we could, in full or part, apply the past knowledge using the differential analysis. So we have around 60% reuse rate in our clearance life cycles. And one more aspect is any new information that we get inside the compliance team or policies, we record it into a reusable database, and all the member pool in the compliance team at all points will be aware of all that is happening. So the reuse within the team happens very frequently. So switching between different ecosystems or developers or requests, we handle in a smooth manner. So this is the way that worked for us for reducing the developer dependency. Having detailed about the main focus challenges, we also gained our experiences and learnings on what is a centralized system, what works and what works best in a centralized system. So moving on to our key learnings in the centralized model. Basically, there are two pillars which are the strongest ones in a centralized model is the process and your reusable expertise. The process is such that it reduces the duplicates, provides the same reproducible and consistent environment for different product varieties so that ensure consistency is ensured. And it is one infrastructure, you build it once, you can reuse it across multiple developer teams. Along with the strong process, the reusable knowledge plays an important role in a compliance team. The knowledge that you gain from one experience could be actively used for another product experience, which strengthens the benefits of a compliance model. Again, having said these are the two key pillars, how do you leverage the maximum? That is where in our experience we have understood the team composition plays a major role. So in our compliance team, we have a mix of developers as well as compliance domain engineers. So they can actually complement each other. The developers come with practical knowledge about at least few of the product ecosystems, and the compliance experts are already coming with the compliance knowledge. So by augmenting each other within the team, they produce a beautiful harmony for providing a good service for a developer team for an end-to-end compliance service. So the team composition along with the right process and the reusability plays the biggest benefits of a centralized team.
Yes, thanks, Anupama. So bringing these three items together, I think having a centralized system effectively has helped us serve our customers, the product development teams. Going further, this brings us to the last section of our presentation. So in our department, we had a need to implement license clearance in our department. Supporting multiple products was key to us. Multiple developer teams were there, multiple technology stacks we had to support. For this, we evaluated different models, and then we found a centralized model was what was matching our department needs. For the challenges, I think putting together the right mix of compliance team with developers and the domain experts in a single team and trying to prep them with the product expertise, that has helped us mitigate many of the challenges. And through this, we are ensuring thorough license compliance in our department. And this, it actually unlocks, we promote conducive environment for developers towards responsible open source contributions. So thank you so much for all of your time and patience. Thank you. I think we'll take some questions if they're available. Yes.
Thanks for the great insights. I was wondering, do you collect some KPIs on your whole process, like, for example, your throughput time on an average project from inbound to approval at the end?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we do have a monthly KPI report that we actually generate, having many KPIs part of the report. Anupam sir, you want to tell?
So we follow the chaos code metrics format for the different KPIs. We majorly concentrate on how many issues, and in each issue the varying complexity, like the number of files, number of lines of code, and even we take the number of ignored files or number of lines code. And every month, constantly we will measure for each of them, and we actually calculate our target KPIs also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a number for an average case, how long it takes from you request the project information until project is fully?
So I'd like to take this out of the session. I can show you some example reports, but yeah, we do
Yeah.
have number and it varies from request to request.
Yeah. So in our department, we have some projects which are really huge, and some products which are the thing that we have to clear on is very less. So it varies quite widely. So that is the challenge that we have. Yeah. Yes.
I have a couple of questions. One is the process that you showed us looks minimal. So are there any tools that you are using to automate these processes? That's one. The second is, can you share the total time that you have taken to complete those 239 requests from the development teams?
Okay. So for the tools, I think for license scaling, we're using Fossology, FossID, and we have a lot of inbuilt tools, in-house built tools that we're using. So they form the tool chain that we are using internally. And shift left is one direction that we are actually pursuing. And wherever there's scope, we want to kind of like apply those tools. So there is a lot of scope for automation yet, and we are pursuing that path. Yeah.
And the time that you have taken in order to complete those 239 requests?
Yeah, so we've been in operation since last 3 years, and we've been successively refining our workflow, ensuring we understand more about the product team. So it's not a simple answer because the version 1 release that comes for a license compliance, you pretty much know nothing about the product. The version 2, you pretty much know a lot of things like the build system getting used, the OSS dependencies getting used. So you know a lot about the product in the second iteration. So it successively brings down. And last 3 years is the metric, the 236 requests.
This is used as the last stages of development. Is that what you mean? I mean, the development team has finished the product.
Yes.
But now it has been sent to the compliance team to make sure that it is compliant, and then you are pushing it out.
Yeah.
So again, there are different teams, so their request varies in timeline. So we have a few teams which repeatedly ask not at the final integration time. So when they start designing, they want to check the OSS integration and license compliance. They ask us towards like shift to left concept. There are teams that uses the shift left, and there are few incidents where it is proprietary code. The team would have already done a license check at their end. Final integration image was requested to the compliance team for detailed clearance. So we have mix of all the cases.
So the strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
I have some follow-up questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the
Yeah.
strategy we've taken is we've got a OSS lead who actually front ends from the development team. And typically we give some basic training about what is a basic license training is given to the OSS lead so that he can actually interface with us, with the license clearance team. And this training, it's very iterative. The more the developer team actually understands what is required, we kind of like integrate better. So
That's the challenge that we see as well. I mean, when you keep the processes manual, it can take a lot of time to get
Yeah.
approval from licensing team. And that's one of the challenges that software engineering teams face.
agreed.
And that's why you bring in those tools to automate the processes. So
Right.
that's why I'm interested in that. Without automating some of the stuff, how is this timeline managed?
Okay. I think we should
How are
discuss.
you
Yes.
Not impacting the developer productivity and also keeping in the compliance.
Got it. I think we should discuss more.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks. Thanks. Any more questions? Yes, go ahead.
You explained only from the license compliance perspective, but are there any plans to embed some security perspective
Yes.
in the near future?
So in our department, we have a strategy where security and OSS compliance are under one umbrella. So I think that is already recognized in our BU. And I think we're trying to bring them together as close as possible because the SBOM kind of like becomes the root for even security. So we see that, and I think they've been brought under the same umbrella, and I think there's some work happening under that. Yeah. Thanks. Any other questions? All right. Thanks. Thanks so much for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thanks. Thanks.